My summer job took me to Oz is an adaptation of Frank L. Baum's The Wizard of Oz. My leadership experience was much like Dorothy's trip to the Emerald City. Through the characters of this classic tale, I will introduce you to the types of leaders I met and my own methods in leadership. I graduated in the spring of 1999. I was an okay student. I planned to grab a few classes at the community college here and there. My stepfather had passed away in the fall, and I wanted to be a support system to my mother. In the meantime, I took a summer job at the local mall. Starting pay was great, discounts, lots of fashion. And though I didn't seem concerned with it at the time, there was opportunity to advance. R&B was fast-paced and fun. Before I knew it, I was being promoted to an assistant management position. At 18, I was given a great deal of responsibility, benefits, a hefty salary for someone fresh out of high school. Then there was White House Black Market. At the time, I had not heard of it. I was in my 20s now and seeking a more mature job, as well as a promotion that seemed to never come my way at R&B. I started out as an ASM, and within a month they promoted me to my own location. I was with them for almost 7 years when I realized I was at a standstill. I was going nowhere fast. My hours were long and opportunity was minimal. It was time for a change. Loft was quite different. The atmosphere was relaxed and they offered a competitive salary. As a company, they seemed more focused on happiness and well-being of their employees. I was there for 3 years, with few raises and minimal growth. At this point in my life, money became a driving force, and Michael Kors had it. They saw my salary at Loft, and well, they doubled it. Who could say no to that? Soon the outlet mall hours set in the holidays, and then I quickly realized my personal life was fading fast. Before there was no chance to bring it back from the dead, I hit the road. Calypso was a destination apparel store, and they were exactly that. The hours were amazing and there were less holidays worked, but there was one problem: my manager. As I advanced along the way, I began to notice a pattern. All my managers demonstrated different kinds of power. Northhouse describes 6 bases of power when it comes to leadership. Along the way, I encountered position power. These managers found their power from their positions within the company. I also had the pleasure of working with those that had personal power. These were my mentors, the ones that I looked up to. Like myself, Dorothy met 3 powerful people. Glenda the Good Witch represents personal power. According to Northhouse, Glenda possesses referent power. She's likable, and Dorothy and the Munchkins sense that. She also has expert power, as she has the ability and knowledge to guide Dorothy toward the Emerald City. The Great and Powerful Oz demonstrates 3 of the bases of position power: legitimate, reward, information power. In my experience, corporate was my Oz. Oz ruled the Emerald City, and with that position came great power. He had the ability to reward Dorothy and her friends with the things that they requested of him. He also held valuable knowledge that they were seeking, or so it seemed. It seemed no matter where I went, there was always one manager that evoked fear among myself and my team. The Wicked Witch of the West possessed one of the same bases of power as these managers in my past. Northhouse states these leaders were often wielders of power. Like the Wicked Witch of the West, they used their power to instill fear through threats. It's quite possible that I've seen a flying monkey or 2 in my career. Each time I took over a new store, I always felt like Dorothy when she arrives in Munchkinland. While the Lollipop Guild never greeted me, they were excited to have a fresh start. My staff always looked at me as if I was the one that dropped the house on their wicked manager, the same way Dorothy's house lands smack dab on the Wicked Witch of the East, freeing the Munchkins. I had a responsibility to prove myself to my team that I was different. As a manager, I would learn that no 2 people are alike. They all had specific needs, goals, and behaviors. Each person brought something to the table. Every one of them was capable of more than they knew. I quickly learned to take a situational approach to leading my team. As Dorothy travels the yellow brick road, she meets three very different people: the Scarecrow, the Tin Man, and the Cowardly Lion. In my experience, I also encountered similar people. Through an associate evaluation, I determined each person's development level. Each level helps determine the leadership style that's necessary. While at the time I didn't know it, I was using Blanchard's model. Scarecrow has a strong desire. He's hardworking but struggles sometimes. He keeps saying if I only had a brain. Based on my observations in Blanchard's model, Scarecrow's a D1, low-level competence and high commitment. My directive behavior should be an S1. Scarecrow needs high direction, like clear goals and low support, but close supervision. Tin Man's quite strong, gets the job done, but lacks heart. He's a D3, moderate competence and often variable commitment, as his heart is just not in the work. He needs high support and low direction. As a leader, I need to give him social and emotional support to bring out skills and keep him motivated. The Cowardly Lion, I see people like him all the time. Hardworking, passionate, has desire, but lacks courage. As a D4, Lion has high competence and high commitment. I don't need to provide much support or direction. I can delegate tasks and allow him to make decisions to build courage. For years, I worked hard to develop and lead successful teams. Outside of work, my personal life was changing. Soon there were babies, 3 to be exact. Holidays, and in the retail world, that meant more hours and late nights. Birthdays, mostly on weekends, and with only one weekend off a month, the choice was never easy. First words, sports and school plays. More times than I can count, I wasn't there. I worked hard, stuck it out. I took advantage of time off that often got a side-eyed glare from my bosses. The yellow brick road that once was my path toward success soon became a labyrinth. I spent more time daydreaming about my family, what life was like on the other side. I was homesick. Then one day, I realized something. I had the power to change it all. Like Dorothy, I had it all along. I just didn't know it yet. Over the years, I gained something valuable. I learned what kind of leader I wanted to be and the kind I didn't. But most of all, I learned there's no place like home.